Rams. This was survival. That's what this was. And sometimes when you're a team that's been in the playoffs a long time, again, they didn't need to score 30 points to win. You know, it didn't need to be one of these things where Stafford was perfect. They found ways to win in this game. I just have a comment. The sideline view on the All-22, for those of you at home who have access to that stuff, was borderline unusable. And I didn't think that the conditions would be quite like that. Honestly, when we turned the game on, I said to myself, well, I said it out loud, I think that, and I'm no meteorologist, obviously, just like some of y'all aren't quarterback experts, the snow in New England was like oppressive. It was like wet and heavy and unpredictable. The snow in Chicago, it was changing every 5-10 minutes, but it was that fluffy, like, hey, we made this in a machine snow, and it was blowing around and shit. Like, it was not an opportune situation, but those are two quarterbacks that have the arm strength, and they had the grip on the ball to be able to throw the ball. Stafford, a lot of talk, doesn't play well in the cold. That kind of bore out in this game, but they still found a way to win. I don't know where the 13 personnel stuff went. You talked all week about with Chicago being down linebackers, you need to fill the fucking field with big bodies, tight ends, make them get into heavy personnel. They ran a ton of 11, only 7 reps to 13, something we've seen all year. 28 is the average coming in on 13 personnel plays for the Rams. So something changed with their game plan where they said, oh, we're going to zag. And I almost felt like even the outside zone, which we talked about them being susceptible to, didn't see a lot of that. Didn't see a lot of Blake Corum. He still ran the ball 31 times in the game, but I thought there were times where they kind of went away from it. When they were in third and short and manageable, hey, you know, a lot of plays that you like in that playbook, but in those conditions, third and longer, not very good. So running the ball, not as much of a mainstay for them, and the big personnel, not a mainstay for them. I thought, honestly, McVay, and I alluded to this, I didn't think it was his best night. I thought he got caught up a little bit. Fuck, they won the game, and I think he's a whiz. I think he's a Hall of Famer. But I think they got caught up a little bit in the, I'm fucking Sean McVay. Who the fuck are you, Ben Johnson? You were mean to my friend. This is for the LaFleurs, right? And he was trying to rip that ball down the field, and I thought they wanted to go for the jugular more than I think they had to. But at the end of the day, had a great call on the money down, 4th down to Nakua with the motion kind of returns on the jet sweep. You know, they did what they had to do. I'll talk about the defense in a second. I thought the defense was fantastic. We talked about how the front had to win. They won in a lot of big situations. But Stafford wasn't himself. Came out in the second half, missed the 3rd and 4th, threw it right to Byard at one point. And there was a stretch, as much as we talked about the blitz and how great they were and he is against the blitz. This was the glaring thing, and I think Seattle, as much as they like to rush for and not fuck with anything, you put some things on tape against Chicago that weren't great. Williams passed up, was it Brisker, at one point on an edge pressure, and then it was Parkinson passing up Gordon. Mm-hmm. And then you come out of the half and you know, you go sim pressure and a big guy just in there immediately, and damn near Matt Stafford falling on that fumble damn near broke his ribs, dude. Mm-hmm. So they were lucky on a couple counts of putting the ball on the ground. Williams picked up a sack fumble from Sweat. That was a big fumble recovery. Stafford fell on his own fumble. You know, the Bears, who've lived off turnovers, didn't get those turnovers. And then the last thing I'll say is this. Puka was big. Puka was big in crunch time. He's obviously big as a diversion. He was big blocking. But it's the tight ends that have made some of the biggest plays for them on the season. Parkinson, obviously, against Carolina. I thought Higbee running that slot wheel before the half to get 3 points was huge in a low total game. And then also late, the pick play where it was a really cool design and a really great execution by Puka where they hit Parkinson behind him. He sets the pick, and that's another big explosive that gets him going backed up. The one thing I would say to McVay, and this is Nate, I'm doing my situational football soapbox. You're up, 2:07 to go, 1 touchdown. Mm-hmm. Chicago has 1 timeout. It's 3rd and 10. You're backed up. We all know how this movie ends, and it did end exactly that fucking way. Mm-hmm. Why are you running the football? Because to me, you drop back and throw the ball. It takes 5 seconds. Worst case scenario, it's incomplete. The 2-minute warning is still going to run at the punt, dude. When you punt the ball, they're still going to have 1 timeout left. It made no sense to me why they didn't drop back and try to end the game right there. That, to me, is flying a little bit close to the sun.
Once you got Stafford, like you got to think he's going to know the situation there and know like, hey, I absolutely cannot throw a pick here. I absolutely cannot
You got to
throw a
trust him.
pick six. You got to trust your guy Matt Stafford. And it's like, what other quarterback would you want to put in that situation to absolutely not make the worst error of his career? Probably.
No
I'm with you on
question.
that one, Chris.
And the thing we said would be key coming to the game really bore out. The Rams defensive line had to take the game over. They didn't take it over because, like, in a way that like you at home might notice immediately because, Caleb Williams is upright. He's Houdini. But in the run game, dude, Jared Verse made some plays. Obviously, the goal line stand was huge, and part of that hurdle play on third down is Jared Verse denting the kick out and making it bubble. And then it's, hey, Swift goes for the hurdle, Lake, hero play. So, but it starts with Jared Verse. Jared Verse on 3rd and 1, getting them to punt. Such a great TFL that they're not even thinking about it on 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
And all the money downs we're talking about through the game, I thought Caleb missed on some of those. He missed on the 4th and 3. Obviously you had the big 4th and 1 stop. We talked about that. The goal line stand, we talked about that. Caleb missed a read on 4th and 2. And the game ends with a pick. The Kobe Durant on the press bail kind of pick, like it's just a bad ball. You don't need to go there. I'm going to go with the Rams front. Their front seven. I don't think they were the biggest story of the weekend, like because they don't have a bunch of gaudy sack numbers or anything like that. But you said it, like you're going to have to win this game stopping the run at times without throwing a bunch at the front. I thought they set good edges. We talked about Poona Ford. He's a specialist. He's brought in to do a job. He has a very specific set of skills, and he does them. And I thought Jared Verse in short yardage situations. We talked about. Did I mention Stewart already?
Stewart, yeah.
Yeah, they just. It was a good team effort. Byron Young, who's like a pass rusher, was on pace to have 15 buckets. Like he's in there throwing his hat in there. Landman, all those guys. Although it was the front for me, so I'll go Rams front, and it's STL Memorial, which a little
nice touch.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.